Hi, it's Mr. Mabry, and we're going to talk about autoimmune diseases. Now, you probably just got done watching allergy notes. You can continue these notes on the same note page or continue to another note page. Like the allergy notes, we are not going to have a set rubric to follow or scaffolding for the notes. You're just going to have to follow along with the PowerPoint slides and write things down when I tell you to. Here we go. So, autoimmune diseases are similar to allergies in that they're not caused by a specific pathogen. They're caused by your immune system doing something wrong. The difference with allergies is it is something external that your immune system is mistaking for danger. With autoimmune diseases, its cause is inherent in the name itself. So if we look over here where it says auto and then immune, auto means self, autopilot. So autoimmune diseases are self-immune diseases, diseases where the immune system is attacking itself, its own body. So what we're going to write down as a definition for autoimmune is it is a failure of white blood cells to determine self versus non-self, and white blood cells attack your own body. And the three common autoimmune diseases we're going to look at is lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple sclerosis. So why don't you go ahead and write down these three diseases. Then we're going to see a bunch of slides about each of these diseases, and then we'll come back and write down just one or two things next to each disease. So here we go. Let's talk lupus. Lupus, a lot of funny things can happen. It's when often you have heart problems, it's pleural effusions where fluid gets in your lungs. You could have nephritis where your kidneys are being inflamed, arthritis of the joints. Your fingers can turn yellow. You can get these very funny rashes inside on the face. And so what's weird about lupus is almost all organ systems can be attacked when you get lupuses. And you might flare up and then go away for a couple years. And you can live with it for a while and then all of a sudden it's life-threatening and ends up killing you. I've had a student with lupus. What's really interesting is almost everyone I know with lupus has been women. See how it affects women more than men? And it tends to affect African American women more often than Caucasian women. And in fact, everyone I know who's had lupus has been an African American woman, which is very interesting. They treat the symptoms as they occur. So that's a quick overview of lupus. You never know which organ system it's going to attack. It looks different. It looks different for every person. What I'd like you to write down for lupus is white blood cells attack almost all organ systems. And then I want you to write down 9 times more women than men and 3 times more often in African Americans. Okay? Let's move on to our next one. Rheumatoid arthritis. This is when all these different joints right here are being attacked in arthritis. And so your immune system is thinking your joints are bad. And so they come in and they attack and make the joints swell because your white blood cells trying to inflame them and get rid of your joints. And so what's interesting is, moving on, women tend to have arthritis more than men. Usually people in their 40s and 60s is when you first start getting arthritis. You often will have a family history, and it's really interesting that smoking can contribute your chance of getting arthritis. So don't smoke. You might get arthritis. Treatment for arthritis is usually taking anti-inflammatory medication. Immunosuppressants sometimes help. And sometimes if it's bad enough, they might even replace your joints, especially if you're young enough. So for arthritis, why don't we write down, let's write down 40 to 60. Let's also write down joints. So scoot back here. It's attacking joints. So 40 to 60 joints. And I want you to write down the most common treatment, which is anti-inflammatories. Finally, let's talk multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis attacks your neurons right here. And it makes the electricity that travels down your neuron particularly slow. And how it does that is by consuming something called myelin around your motor neurons. And what often will happen is you will lose the ability to walk and speak in a normal cadence. It slows down your response time. So everything you do voluntarily, where you're like, here, grab this, or walk this way, or type, or catch a ball or throw it, you have to be much more intentionally with how you think about it. Everything isn't just instinctive, where you can just move as fast as your brain thinks. And like most things, they'll have flare up and it'll go away for a while. But what's interesting as well is Women tend to get this a little bit more. However, it's Caucasians this time more than men. And again, it usually only shows up after childhood into adulthood, which I find interesting. So for multiple sclerosis, let's write down nerves. Let's write down lose the ability to walk and speak. And let's write down Caucasians. Whoops. Okay. To save time, I'm not going to show you the last slide of a friend of mine who has multiple sclerosis. So just make sure you have the details for all three of those common autoimmune disorders. And now you're going to be ready to start your Dr. Know-It-All project. Thanks for watching.